So guys, you're welcome back to my channel where you dey get the ogbonge news and trending things where they happen for the country. Finally, Senator Natasha don't apologize to Senator Godswill Akpabio. When I know say this Senator Natasha Akpabio don a sexual harassment case with Senator Godswill Akpabio, it never end. And before now, one of the requirements for Senator Natasha to be forgiven, for her sins to be forgiven, was that she's going to apologize to Senator Godswill Akpabio. Now she has come out to apologize. Really, she has come out to apologize. So guys, sit tight. Let me read out this apology letter. Satirical letter from the desk of Natasha Akpabio. Dear distinguished Senate President Godswill Akpabio, it is with the deepest sarcasm and utmost theoretical regret that I tender this apology for the grievous crime of possessing dignity and self-respect in your most exalted presence. I have reflected intensively on my unforgivable failure to recognize that legislative success in certain quarter is apparently not earned through merit, but through the ancient art of compliance of the very personal kind. How remiss of me not to understand that my refusal to indulge your request was not merely a personal choice, but a constitutional violation of the unwritten law of certain men's entitlements. Truly, I must apologize for prioritizing competence over capitalization, vision over vanity, and the people's mandate over private dinner behind closed door. I now recognize the catastrophic consequence of my actions, legislature delayed, tampered flair, and the strategic bruising of ego so large they require their own postcode. I bow my head in fractional shame. Please find in your magnanimous heart somewhere buried deep beneath layer of the entitlement to forgive this stubborn woman who mistakenly believed that her seat in the Senate was earned through election, not erection. I remain yours in external resistance, Senator Natasha H. Akpoti Udoa, unafraid, unbought, and unbroken. Guys. This satirical apology letter is a masterpiece in biting human and clever wordplay, as in clever wordplay. Not be that say make she apologize. She has come out to apologize. Who says she never apologized, guys? A lot of things Nigerians are really hoping. We want to know. Even me, I want to know. We want to see that evidence. Because Senator Natasha, the way she dey carry this matter, it shows that she really have a concrete evidence, which she have already accepted that she's going to tender it at the appropriate time in the courts. Now may the court continue. So we are still hoping that more evidence, more things like this will be coming out, because I believe say these are later. She just drop them because she feels say the thing don dey quench. Matter be like waiting on the one quench like other ones. She dropped this her letter, and this her letter have really attracted a lot of reactions from Nigerians all over the world. So I'm going to drop these reactions, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Subscription is for free, just for you to be getting updates as they drop and sharply. So guys, see you in my next video, and please don't forget to like and share our videos.
Now, following on the controversy between the suspended senator representing the PDP Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio over allegations of sexual harassment, Natasha has now issued a satirical apology to Senate President Godswill Akpabio, reigniting discussions about gender dynamics and power struggles within Nigeria's legislative chambers. In a letter dripping with biting irony, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan offered what could be described as a profuse apology for the grievous crime of maintaining dignity and self-respect in the Senate President's presence. Let's take a look at the letter. Now, this letter goes on to say, from the desk of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, I'm going to read this very quickly. Dear distinguished Senate President Godswill Akpabio, it is with the deepest sarcasm and utmost theatrical regret that I tender this apology for the grievous crime of possessing dignity and self-respect in your most exalted presence. I have reflected extensively on my unforgivable failure to recognize that legislative success in certain quarters is apparently not earned through merit, but through the ancient art of compliance of the very personal kind. How remiss of me not to understand that my refusal to indulge your requests was not merely a personal choice, but a constitutional violation of the unwritten laws of certain men's entitlement. Truly, I must apologize for prioritizing competence over capitulation, vision over vanity, and the people's mandate over private dinners behind closed doors. I now realize the catastrophic consequences of my actions: legislation delayed, tempers flared, and the tragic bruising of egos so large they require their own postcodes. For this disruption to the natural order of quid pro quo, I bow my head in fictional shame. Please find it in your magnanimous heart, somewhat buried deep beneath layers of entitlement, to forgive this stubborn woman who mistakenly believed that her seat in the Senate was earned through elections, not erections. I remain yours in eternal resistance, Senator Natasha H. Apoti Udwahan, unafraid, unbought, unbroken. Well, let's take a look at the tweets. The first tweet is from Fly Scholar. Fly Scholar, what are you saying? He said, this is probably the first time I'm seeing this level of satirical writing from a Nigerian politician. This will definitely get Akpabio and his supporters really pissed if they come across it. Of course they have. But seriously, I strongly doubt she actually wrote it, because what's the point? If she wanted to apologize, she would have. And if not, she could simply have just stayed silent. No need for all this. Honestly, I just hope it doesn't cause further issues or delay her resumption after an already unfair suspension. And Carrie Goy tweeted saying, reading through these comments, I'm deeply disappointed. It's disheartening to see how quickly people mock or dismiss a serious issue of alleged misconduct. This reflects a deeper societal rot where victims are ridiculed instead of supported. We seriously need to re-educate ourselves and start living better. Well, there you have it. That was a letter. First of all, I have to just give it up to whoever wrote it. If not anything, just for the pun intended in the letter, the person is definitely the witty nature of the letter, definitely true artistry in the skill in putting together that letter. But now to the point of what the letter was for. She was expected to apologize, because we know the suspension was because of the disruption that was caused in the House. That's what she was told she was suspended for. But she says, no, it's not about this. It's because there are other issues that are influencing some of these cherry picking of issues to handle, which in turn led to her changing her seat. Now, we're seeing this as her letter. The question now is, what next? She went to the IPU. She's granted several interviews, but it seems as though a lot of the issues she's raised have fallen on deaf ears. She also alleged that her father's house or her relative's house in Kogi State was recently attacked as well. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been said. So could this be her own way of saying, listen, everyone, I'm still here and I'm unafraid and I am on board?
Okay. Anyway, all of this is very amusing. I've been seeing a number of comments saying, oh, this is satire and all of that. As a man with a PhD in criticism, I used to teach a course called Comedy and Other Comic Forms many years back in my other life, before I got diverted into this he said, she said, they said business. We used to teach the students that, look, satire is the highest form of comedy, and the lowest form is farce and burlesque. So when I read Natasha Apoti Udwahan Senator's statement, I thought this whole thing has become very farcical. It's just becoming, the lowest extreme of comedy. Clearly, the meaning of her statement, which she calls an apology, is contained in the last paragraph. She says she's unbroken. She's, unfounded. She's, which means that really this is not meant to be an apology. And, many people will be amused by all that play on erection as opposed to election, theatrical register, and all of that. Well, whoever wrote that, a lot of sarcasm contained there. I won't say wit. William Hazlitt was the one who wrote an essay on wit. So that's a whole theoretical subject, what the meaning of wit is. But don't let me be pedantic, But I think look, we should just return to the basic issues.
Yes.
The basic issues about allegations of sexual harassment, the request for evidence, the matters that are in court, because there are now so many dimensions. Sandra Duro, who used to work with us at Hint magazine many years ago when I used to do romance journalism. I've seen her also on social media, posting a number of things and raising allegations. I think in all of this, the key issues may be lost in translation. I think it's the key original issues that we should focus upon. The allegation, is there any evidence possible? The matter that is before the court, and then, the larger issues that others have raised about the connection between this and politics and women empowerment and responsibility. Those should be the serious issues. But I guess Nigerians will enjoy the entertainment, the burlesque, and the absurdity, to which, in terms of the level, all of this has been stretched.
Yes, Kachi, when I saw this, I was online when I saw it being uploaded, when I saw the post show up on my feed. And my initial response, I was just telling Dr. Abati, I thought she had been hacked because I couldn't, I surely did. When I read it, I was a little bit confused. But, we often talk about how we reduce most things to humor.
Yes.
No matter how serious they are, we always find a way to create humor around things. Maybe it's a coping mechanism for, it's a survival strategy to just get us through some hard times. And possibly this is what that is. But I felt that it was unnecessary. Understandably, in the world of communications, whether it be political communications or corporate communications, sometimes it's important to register your presence and remind people that you're still there, that this issue has not died down. Just because it's no longer in the news cycle, it hasn't gone away. So I suppose this was the strategy, is to just remind us that there is an issue. It may not be in the front of a news cycle, but I'm going to bring it back to the front burner. And when you study content creation, I did a couple of courses on content creation and content that attracts eyeballs. They say sometimes you have to do something shocking in order to recapture the narrative and bring something back to the top of the news cycle, as she has done now. So I think that a mere statement.
She's a content creator.
Oh, we are.
I didn't.
But to be honest, isn't everyone though?
Everything on social media is content creation.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's there to create engagement, to get attention. Engagement is the currency of social media.
Exactly.
So if you post something and there's no engagement around it, it's unsuccessful. That's in the world of content creation and engaging people on social media, which is where a lot of this has played out. Now, I like Dr. Abati's point, which is that, fine, there's the social media, there's the public sphere to this. But let's not take away from the fact that these are very serious allegations. There's a serious issue at play here, which needs to go through the necessary processes. Now, this is where we can challenge and say, surely, yes, there's a 6-month suspension, but there are other issues in court. This is taking too long because this is a matter of great public interest. So I think this is an opportunity for us to also say that, fine, we can bring what we call a satirical apology. The question is, will Akpabio answer? Will he say, Senator Akpabio, will he say apology received? No. But is this going to remind us that our judicial system is slow? And we need to find ways to quicken the system so that these types of things can be settled speedily, especially in the interest where it interests lawmakers. These are people who represent our interest, the common good. It's dragging on for too long. Yes, fine, there's a 6-month suspension, but the other issues that are before the courts, surely by now, we hope to have heard back from the courts.
Absolutely, most definitely. And I think it also raises the question around what people in this type of situations can do. Because as much as these are still allegations, we find allegations like this across board, whether it's in politics, whether it's in business, whether it's in media, it's in in health, it's in every industry present. So if we see this handled with with the level of seriousness that has been placed on this case, what are the odds for any other person who may have a similar story to share?
So guys, you can see that this really called for urgent attention. This issue of Senator Natasha and Akpabio's case is an embarrassment to Nigerians. I know, yes, we will say, no, Natasha and this Akpabio, na their own business. But beyond that, it's an embarrassment to this country. And the way the government are treating this case, they are just treating it as if it's just a normal thing, which ordinarily is not, because we're talking about two lawmakers. We're not just talking about prominent people or any other person, but two lawmakers of the upper chamber. Is an embarrassment, guys. We're not also talking about a House of Assembly, but the senators, two sitting senators. It's an embarrassment, and I think the Nigerian government, they should take this thing seriously. But well, how do you expect them to take it seriously? We be still them, now then go decide how everything will play out.